Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Encumbered. My name is Mitchell Brewer. It is great to be back here as we gear up for another season of NASCAR. Already kicking off this Sunday with the Busch Light Clash. 2 weeks after that, it's the Daytona 500. Man, the off season, as slow as it seemed, it also just flew by. It seems like it wasn't that long ago that we were just wrapping up the season in Phoenix. And my goodness, with a new season, there comes rule changes, which NASCAR tends to do right around this time, about a week or so before the season starts. And boy, did they have some big changes today. Some of them that I think are going to get lost in the shuffle with some of the other changes that are going to get a lot of attention. But we'll get to that. We'll get to my thoughts and opinions. But first off, let's just go through all of the changes that they are making this season. The biggest one that everybody's going to be talking about: no more Melon miracles. NASCAR says there will be a timed penalty for Ross Chastain-like moves if pulled off at any and all tracks. In addition, NASCAR has announced that they're going to be eliminating stage breaks at road courses except for Xfinity and Truck standalone events. Points will still be awarded for stages. Loose wheel, that was a big popular discussion point last year. They are changing how that penalty is assessed this year. If it happens on pit road under a yellow flag, you will start at the rear of the field. If it happens on pit road during the green flag, it is a pass-through penalty. If it happens on track, it is a 2-lap penalty and a 2-race suspension for 2 crew members. Kind of decreasing the blow a little bit from last season there. Damaged vehicle policy will be 7 minutes, was increased from 6 to 10 during the playoff races last year. Teams figured out that they could repair toe links on pit road in about 6.5 minutes, and that is how NASCAR came up with the 7-minute time slot there. Oval events will have rain tires for damp conditions. Those races will be the races that they will have these rain tires available at will be the Clash, IRP, Martinsville, Milwaukee, New Hampshire, North Wilkesboro, Phoenix, Richmond. Cars must have wiper motors, wipers themselves optional, and the rear lights for the races. The top 30 rule will no longer apply, and this rule was the top 20 in Xfinity and trucks. But if you win and you have attempted all of the races, or if you, like, a accomplished situation happens where you get hurt, you get a waiver, you win, you're in the playoffs. There's no more top 30 rule. There's no more top 20 rule in Xfinity and trucks. And this next rule, this last one that we're going to talk about here, it is only for the first 5 races, but the restart zone will be extended by 50%, 25% in each direction. NASCAR will evaluate these changes after Atlanta. This was a move that was requested by the drivers. So let's kind of break this down one by one here, and let's just start off with the one that everybody's going to be talking about. Everybody already kind of upset about it. The Melon miracle, no longer allowed, going to be a timed penalty. Obviously, if you're not familiar, Ross Chastain pulled off what I consider to be the greatest passes in NASCAR history last year at Martinsville. He needed a few spots to get into the championship 4, and he just wall ride from 3 through 4 all the way past the checkered flag line, going at an absurd speed. It worked. He passed a number of cars, including Denny Hamlin, knocking Hamlin out of the championship 4 and putting Chastain in the championship 4. Now, this isn't going to be in a popular opinion, and I get it. I get people are going to be really upset because it was such a cool move. It was such a unique move. It was a crazy move, and I loved it. Like I said, I think it's the greatest pass in NASCAR history. However, and this is a big however, they don't. I agree with NASCAR on this one. I think once is cool. I don't think we need to be seeing this on the white flag lap of every single Martinsville race forever. I don't think we need to see that, especially since who knows if this move can even be executed as well as Chastain pulled off. Like, like, there's a safety risk with it all, and it's just like, do we really want races being determined by that? Like, And I'm not taking anything away from Ross here. I'm not trying to say, hey, that wasn't a cool move. I'm not trying to be like Kyle Larson and how he reacted after that interview. However, and Larson made this point, do we want that to be a standard moving forward? And I don't think you do. I don't think you want it to come down to the last lap and somebody's running in second or somebody's running in 12th and they need to catch somebody who's running ninth and they just slam up against the wall. I don't think that's what you want. I think especially if NASCAR didn't make this move, I think we probably would have seen it. We might have seen it at every short track on the schedule. And I don't think we need to see that all the time. I don't think we do. I think once was good. And really, it just, what's the proper word here? Immortalizes the Melon Miracle even more because that can never happen again now. It was such a good move that NASCAR went out and banned it. And I don't think Ross Chastain, I don't know what his thoughts are. I don't think we've seen any comment from him yet. But I don't think you can be too terribly upset if you're Ross Chastain. Like, yeah, it's unfortunate that that it's banned. And it does seem like NASCAR's taking the fun out of it, but like, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I think it's fine. I think if NASCAR didn't ban it, we would have seen it all the time. And we don't need that. We don't need that at every single race. We don't need that continuing. And I think once is good enough. You don't want to oversaturate it. You don't want to even put people at risk of injury or stuff like that, or an additional risk of injury, just because it doesn't make the product better. And like you can complain and complain that this isn't right, this isn't right, this isn't right. But if we saw this, let's say there's four or five races at Martinsville each year for between the trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. If we saw that in each and every race, I think it turns from cool to ridiculous. And it sounds crazy to say, oh, that's going to happen every single race. People were wondering if Ross Chastain was going to do that at Phoenix. People were wondering if he was going to make that move at Phoenix. And, like, I don't think you want to take away from the actual racing itself, the actual beating and banging that can go on at Martinsville, that can be great at Martinsville. I don't think you want to take away from that with just some out-of-the-box move. And then you wonder how will drivers try to react to stop this? Because all of a sudden, if you're Denny Hamlin now and you see Ross Chastain wall riding, are you going to go up and just slam your car into the fence and try to block him? What kind of wreck is that going to create, especially with Chastain, who is going significantly faster than everybody else? What kind of safety risk does that make? I don't know. I don't think NASCAR is being a party pooper here. I think this was the right move. I think, looking at the other rule changes, I think eliminating stage breaks at road courses. I'm a big stage guy, by the way, which I know is going to just further the animosity to me because I know stages aren't the most popular thing in the world. But I do think that's the right call at road courses, to take that away, because at road courses it seems like the strategy and the fun of road courses have been kind of eliminated by all these stage breaks. So I think that's a good call there. I think for standalone races, keeping them, that works as well too, just because of how crazy those standalone races can get for Xfinity and trucks. I agree with the loose wheel one. I'll save you some time. I agree with majority of them. I'm very excited to see what the rain tire package is going to look like on ovals. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm glad NASCAR is trying something, just because I don't remember what season. It wasn't that long ago where it seemed like every single race was being affected by rain, and it was just like, oh my goodness. And it wouldn't even always be like the monsoon-like rains. It would be like just sprinkles that would eventually turn into monsoon. You just wondered, man, if we could just run a couple more laps before it got really bad, what could have happened? And I think this is good for NASCAR, trying to avoid situations like that and trying to like cover their bases and make a better product moving forward. I think that's the right call. Top 30 rule in points. Man, this one I don't like. This is the one that I wish people were raging about on social media because this one's stupid to me, in my opinion. I'm sorry for the language, but oh my word. Like, and I'll use the Kyle Busch situation as an example. A lot of people had a problem with Kyle Busch winning that championship. I really didn't, but the reason that I didn't wasn't because it was because I didn't have a problem with it because he had to work his way back into the top 30. It wasn't just, oh, hey, you get back into the car and you win. No, you actually had to go out and win, win, win. You had to be pretty much upfront all the time to make up as many points as you possibly could so that you could be a championship contender. Now, I just don't like that, man. It just seems like, I don't like it. I feel like, and you look at a guy like Corey LaJoy last year, where if he won Atlanta, under last year's rules where the top 30 points was still in play, he wouldn't have made he wouldn't have made the playoffs because he would finish, I believe, 31st in the regular season standings. So he wouldn't have made the playoffs. Under this year's rule, he makes the playoffs. And as awesome of a story as that is for Corey LaJoy, if you are running 31st, 32nd, I think there's only 32 guys that are running the full season last year. If you were running 31st or 32nd and you win, even if you get one of those crazy wins, I don't think you deserve to be in the playoffs. I think the win you're in thing, I think that's a great thing. I think it's a great thing. I love to see it. I just think there should be that additional restriction on it. And like the big thing with the waivers is like everybody gets a waiver. And I get it. There's certain situations where you just have to get a waiver, but like you got guys in the truck series that aren't quite 18 yet. They're getting a waiver. You got guys that are suspended. They're getting a waiver. I just mean, it's just what's the point of what's the point of even having that rule in place if you're not going to enforce it? That's just my big thing with it. I vehemently disagree with that decision. And again, you might disagree with me in the comments down below. All of that said, my name is Mitchell Brewer of Black Hat Sports. Appreciate you watching. I would appreciate more if you subscribe down below. If not, that's okay. If you subscribe down below, if you like what I had to say today, be sure to follow us on Facebook at Black Hat Sports. Look forward to interacting with you guys all season. And yeah, it is race week, y'all. Let's get jacked. Let's have a great rest of the week. And I will see you after the Clash for a recap of everything that happened there. Have a good one, everybody.